Hey y'all, welcome to the Throttle podcast. I'm your host Will Earnest here today with just myself, but let's get right into it. NASCAR was at Kansas for this fall second race at Kansas. Of course, the spring race, Larson dominated on his way to victory, but that was not really the case. Although Hendrick did kind of get their sort of bounce back weekend after Team Penske got theirs at New Hampshire. Which is, of course, double redemption thanks to JGR and Toyota absolutely sweeping the first round. But Chase Elliott won an absolute thriller in double overtime at Kansas. Thank you, Alan Gustafson, for those that four-tire call. Elliott was able to drive all the way from 10th to the win after Toyota kind of took themselves out, particularly when Hamlin lost power steering, although as he said on his podcast, he had lost power steering kind of decently way through the race, and he noticed it. Like, he could crank the wheel up to a certain point, and then it just got stuck. So it pretty much just got stuck there, and he and Bubba drifted up the track in the final two corners. Bubba got in the wall, and Elliott was able to get underneath and steal the victory. Although it's not like Elliott, won on a fluke. Elliott was up front in the top five all day, and another crazy thing that happened in this race, that crazy Zane Smith flip kind of just drove on the side of the wall, but Nemechek shoved him up into the wall, and that's crazy. Is the three examples that I can think of that happening is like Truex 2005 Busch Series at Richmond, where the 38 car shoved him into the wall, which ended up side skinning him. And then I think it was Bristol in the following year, I think 06, where there was the 38 car itself sliding along the wall. And then now in Kansas this past weekend, there was the 38 car again. It was Zane Smith. So I don't know what he does with the 38 car and like riding the wall sideways, like it's like grinding on a rail, like it's like Tony Hawk or something. I don't know, but points are relatively unchanged. I don't know. There's some gaps. Of course, Elliott and Blaney are locked in with wins. They'll be pretty safe. Well, okay, they're not pretty safe. They are safe heading into the Charlotte ROVAL. Sorry, I am tired. This is like after a long work shift that I had tonight. But anyways, Larson and Hamlin and Bell and Byron are pretty safe. That's what I meant to say. Larson is plus 54, Hamlin is plus 48, Bell is plus 44, and Byron is plus 40. So barring complete collapse by any one of those four, they are feeling pretty safe heading into the ROVAL this weekend. Really, the two that are kind of right there on the cut line, you got Briscoe at plus 21 and Logano at plus 13. You got Chastain at minus 13. He didn't really make up a ton of ground after Kansas, nor did Bubba or Reddick, although they had good days, finishing 5th and 7th, but Bubba's still 26 back, Reddick's still 29 back, and then Cindric at minus 48. He's basically must win at this point. Granted, he's an alright road course racer. I just do not see it, but not impossible either. Our picks for Kansas, I picked Chase Elliott. What a great pick for me. Scored the win, led 24 laps. That definitely will get me back a little bit closer into the championship conversation, as we'll get to points in a couple minutes. Evan picked Reddick, who finished 7th, so he's still going to have a pretty good chunk on his points lead. Zach picked Briscoe. He won the pole, led 19 laps, and finished 4th. And Mason picked Bell, who finished 3rd by leading 43 laps. Haley picked Byron, who was pretty garbage all day, but ended up finishing 9th after those couple overtime restarts. Kind of brought him back up front. Bernardo picked Logano, who ended up 21st. Stacy picked Josh Berry, who, unfortunately, another just tough DNF, finishing 33rd. I mean, she did lead a lap, but that's about the only positive situation that came out of this. I mean, like, I told her after New Hampshire, after Berry finished 2nd, she was just like, I'm picking Berry for Kansas. I'm going to be like, all right, good luck. Yeah. I mean, I warned her, so. And then Ethan picked Chastain, who kind of had a quiet day when he needed to have a good day, as the defending Fall Kansas winner only finished 11th. So he's still within striking distance at the Roval, but his average finish is absolute garbage there. So not really all that much great of a chance for Chastain to advance. Again, not impossible, but not that great of a chance. Standings wise, I've cut 30 points off the gap to Evan's points lead. I'm now just down by 41 points, and then you got Zach holding steady at third with 166 back. Haley's 189 back. Mason's a flat 200 back, and then you get into your part-timers, who are like way back, obviously, because they're part-timers, duh. But the other big attraction, if you drive 4 hours east from Kansas and Kansas City area, you get to St. Louis, and that's where NHRA was this weekend, and that's where I was on Sunday covering it. Ida Zetterstrom came so close to her first victory, and in her first career final round appearance, it almost happened. Her improbable run kicked off in round one, where she beat Tony Stewart, who came in like third in points. But Ida had a perfect 0-0-0, a perfect 0-0 off the Christmas tree, just insane. But she was not able to score the win. It was points leader Doug Coletta taking his third win of the year, his fifth win at St. Louis. And it will extend his points lead to 86 points with just 3 races left to go. Although do remember that the NHRA finals in Pomona, California, that is 1.5 times points. So we'll see how that shakes out. Matt Hagan took his second funny car win of the season. He also won at Seattle back in July. And because points leader Austin Prock lost in round 2 to Jack Beckman, who Hagan beat in the final round, Hagan is now within 20 points of Prock, and Beckman is still third in points, but he's 65 points back. Greg Anderson took another win in Pro Stock. He beat Matt Hartford, who hasn't won, unfortunately, in a few years now. It's Greg's 6th win of the season. It pulls him back within striking distance of Dallas Glenn for the Pro Stock Championship. And it's the 112th win overall for Greg Anderson, who won the championship last year and is looking for a 7th overall Pro Stock World Championship. And Gage Herrera, the birthday boy, happy belated late birthday, he beat rookie Braden Davis to win a Pro Stock motorcycle. Davis went 1/1000th of a second red on the light. Although if Davis would have went green by 1,000th or 2,000ths, or if he went perfect off the tree, he might have won his first career Pro Stock motorcycle race. But all for naught. Gage Herrera jumps back into second in points, 29 points back of Richard Gadsden. Herrera seeks a third straight world championship in Pro Stock motorcycle. We'll see if he can get that done. So points wise, Doug Coletta leads Justin Ashley by 86 points in Top Fuel. Austin Prock, as we mentioned, leads Matt Hagan by 20 points in Funny Car. Dallas Glenn leads Greg Anderson by just 25 points in Pro Stock, and Richard Gadsden leads Gage Herrera by 29 points in Pro Stock motorcycle. Looking ahead to this weekend, kind of a quiet weekend just for sports in general, including motorsports. You got NASCAR heading to the Charlotte ROVAL this weekend. Basically, kind of a home race for them, as most teams and shops are within the Charlotte, Concord, North Carolina area. All 3 major series will be there, including Xfinity and Cup, which this weekend is cutoff races for both of those series. NHRA is off this weekend. They'll return the following weekend with the NHRA Texas Fall Nationals. Only 3 races left to decide who will be crowned world champions in Pomona, California, as mentioned. Of course, they ran at Pomona in the spring for the Winter Nationals for the 3rd race of the season. We'll see if some notes from back then, way back when in like late March, can translate to possibly lead some drivers to win a world championship at the NHRA finals. coming up in like mid-November. So still got a while. Our picks for the Roval, I am sticking with SVG. I'm hoping he's done what he's done pretty much just about all year now. Win on a road course. He won at Mexico. He won at Chicago. He won at Sonoma the following week, and he won at Watkins Glen. So yeah, he's won 4 straight road courses. There's definitely some guys that can challenge him, and obviously the Roval is unique, being that it's part road course but still part oval. Although, I mean, then again, SVG on ovals, watch out, as SVG he finished 10th at Kansas. That was his first top 10 on an oval, so watch out. I'm hoping SVG is able to pull out another road course win, score his 5th win in a row on a road course, and his 5th win this year, which would tie Hamlin once again for most wins in the series this year. Evan is sticking with Reddick as he did this past week at Kansas. Reddick is, of course, minus like 29 to the cut line. Hopefully he does not have a good day and doesn't advance either, so that I can hopefully either take back the points lead or at least chop it down to a very small amount. Remember, there's only 5 races left, so I am running out of time to make some moves here. Zach and Mason are both sticking with Briscoe and Bell for this weekend. I'm not sure really how Briscoe's going to do at the Roval, but then again, obviously this year's been a lot different, being it's his first year in JGR equipment, so we'll see. Briscoe did finish 5th at Watkins Glen. Bell, of course, he's a well-known pick. Obviously, he's been one of the best drivers this year. He won at the Roval in 2022. Yeah, getting into the part-time picks, Haley. Speaking of winners of the Roval, Haley's picking Allmendinger, who won this race 2 years ago in 2023. Bernardo's picking Byron, who's finished like top 5 in back-to-back seasons at the Roval, including a 2nd in 2023 to Allmendinger, who we just mentioned. Stacy's picking Blaney, who won the inaugural Charlotte ROVAL race in 2018, although as a Truex fan, we know that he shouldn't have, but is what it is. And then Colin and Ethan have not given me picks yet. I don't know if they will. Is what it is there, I guess. So, kind of a short week here, and also a late episode. I do apologize for that, and I'm also very tired, and I do apologize for that as well. But we'll see what happens this week at the Charlotte ROVAL cutoff race for both Xfinity and Cup. So hopefully Xfinity doesn't go crazy again, but then again, we've also seen them go pretty crazy this year. See Austin Hill. Yeah, that's all we got for this week's episode of the Throttle Floor Podcast. Make sure you tune in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube with Chill Media, Instagram, where I will have those photos from the NHRA Midwest Nationals from St. Louis up in probably either tonight or tomorrow or a couple days from now. Soon. We'll put it that way. Soon. There we go. So, yep. But that is all we got for this week's episode of the Throttle Floor Podcast, and we'll see y'all next week.